really what we found in the industry is an EDR product is pretty much core and central to actually having solid security outcomes. And much past that at this point for a lot of organizations, depending on size, might be overkill. But EDR is really that sweet spot of you get to deploy it to all of your agents very quickly or all of your endpoints very quickly. You get great telemetry, you get great visibility. And then from there, you can kind of actually detect and respond to these cyber threats with minimal infrastructure need, right? So that's kind of why we focused in on EDR here at Huntress and why we decided we had to build our own and bring it to market. And so the thing I want to start with is basically the life before EDR. If I go back 10 to 15 years, when I was basically at TIAA-CREF, a large financial company here in Charlotte, North Carolina, they were just building out their security operations center. They were a Fortune 100 company, and everyone was realizing, okay, we need a team, we need to monitor all these alerts, we need to do investigations, we cannot be compromised and end up on the front page of the New York Times or whatever it is, right? And really what that meant was we had a lot of technology. We had telemetry coming from the endpoint and network side. So you had antivirus, you have your VPN, you have a web proxy, you have your firewall logs, maybe you have an intrusion detection system or a firewall with intrusion detection system capabilities. And that was the telemetry that you were kind of getting. And then from the detection, triage, and investigation piece, let's say your antivirus says, hey, something bad is happening, or your firewall says, oh, I blocked this IP address or whatever it may be. I blocked this connection. Your ability to actually investigate that was terrible. So if you wanted to go look into these investigations, you pretty much just had to pull more logs, and logs are great, but it's kind of like just having somebody sit at your front door and keep a logbook of, okay, this person came in at roughly this time, this person left at roughly this time, or maybe you don't even have names, right? You just have like descriptions of things that happen, and you have to piece out, okay, well, I know who came in and I know who left, but I have no idea what they did once they were inside the door. And your ability to respond was also delayed, right? So who's maintaining the logbook? How updated is it? And really back in the day, what this meant was you had three options for responding to an alert. You could completely re-image the workstation and just wipe it away and reinstall Windows or whatever it was, which is fine. You could add a firewall rule maybe and block an IP address. And you could reboot the system. If you think your antivirus scan got it, you just need to reboot it and that process isn't running anymore. You were kind of just stuck in that world of like, we'll see if this fixes the problem. You never really felt good about it, to say the least. And so, again, really kind of just summarizing what this means. We knew something was happening, like our firewall would tell us something was happening, our antivirus would tell us something was happening. We just didn't know what all happened. We had one piece of the picture, one puzzle piece. We couldn't see the whole view of what actually happened. And so after EDR, we really began to get just continuous endpoint visibility. So again, we flipped on the 24/7 cameras. We can see what people did inside the house. And then from there, we could actually respond and investigate. So not only did I see that somebody came in, but now I have the tools to see, what websites did they browse to, what files did they download, what processes did they execute, what files did they run, what applications did they run, did they steal my data, right? Did they zip up all this data over here in this HR folder, and then did they ship it out to like an FTP server via the command line? You can now answer those questions, but you have to be able to forensically say, hey, something interesting happened. Now what happened after that event? And that's really where EDR kind of comes in. And then the final piece of, I've identified an attack, what can I do? The biggest one that's happened on the EDR space is host isolation, where we can pretty much click a button and immediately separate that system from the network. So even if an attacker gets access to Max's PC, we hit that host isolation button and boom, the attacker is now no longer able to move laterally. We can kill processes, we can delete files, we can delete malicious registry values, pretty much everything that we need to do after we've understood how the attacker got in and what they did. How are we going to kick them out of this environment so that our risk of them being in here and doing something worse is pretty much gone? So again, so what? We can now see what happened. And not only can we see what happened, we can actually take the steps to stop the attack in its tracks.